How's it going, Scott?
All right, how are you, man?
Pretty good.
Good to see you, man. Always great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show again.
Absolutely. Quickly becoming a regular, and I love it, man. I totally appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Austin Moe, part of Tesla guitarist Frank Hannon's army of Sacramento killer players and music over there that he's got. Frank Hannon Productions, of course. Austin's released a couple of singles before the current one, The River and Take a Walk in My Shoes, and now a new one, I'm Wanted, with a video as well.
Yeah.
It's just killer. It's just so great to see you out there putting another tune out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's great. The video. Let's talk about video. It's cool to have a video with the single. It's just a great pairing because we get to see the band a little bit and get to see that essence of what you're kind of about. How do you like making the videos? Do you like doing that?
The videos are getting, we'll say, better. So I'm getting more comfortable on film because it's way different than playing, to a live audience, because you got to really over exaggerate your words as compared to like how we're talking right now. If you wanted to say, if the word "the" is in the video, you can't just say it like normal. You got to be like "the."
Right.
Kind of have to like really overly over exaggerate it. So like in the close-ups with my face and stuff, there we had plenty of bloopers. It's like, no, try it again, rewind it. Okay, you looked like you were just like a puppet. One more time. And so it's getting better. I think I'm getting more comfortable behind the lens.
That's cool.
And that video shoot was a lot of fun. The guys that are in that video were the musicians that actually recorded the song.
Yeah,
and
I wanted to ask you that too. It's a 3-piece.
Yeah, dude. It was a killer time. And when we recorded that song, they also played on Take a Walk in My Shoes. And we recorded the drums and bass live. And then depending on how the solo turned out for the guitar, we kept that. And this time we kept the live guitar solo from that session. And so what you're hearing is actually what happened in the room in the heat of the moment. And so when we were recording all this stuff, it was just, the environment was just, it was happening, man.
Yeah.
And it was pretty magical. Even Frank was like, holy cow, that was really great.
Yeah. It's that lightning in a bottle thing.
Oh yeah.
You can feel it too. That's what's great. All three of these tracks that we have from you have that kind of massive urgency to them. They have a fire to them.
Thanks.
It's cool. And that's not easy to capture all the time.
No.
Now, the first single, of course, The River, which is a great video, by the way.
No, thanks, man.
It really is. It's cool. It had that bluesy kind of spiritual revivalist thing, backing vocals and stuff. Now you got Take a Walk in My Shoes after that. Has more of the 70s hard rock, Bad Company, social commentary in that one a little bit.
Yeah.
This one's more of a straightforward hard rock anthem.
Right.
Yeah. They're all a little bit different, but they're all Austin Moe. What were you feeling when you wrote this one?
So to give like an origin story, so to speak, behind the song, I normally would pay attention to see one of the things that I learned from Frank writing The River is how to pick up on little like trinkets, if that makes sense, while we're talking to people. So like keep listening. And if somebody says something like a really cool catchphrase, like with Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles, I think it might've been Joe Walsh or something. They were driving around with their buddy and I think they got a speeding ticket or something like that. And just out of conversation, he's like, yeah, man, it's Life in the Fast Lane for you. And he took that, wrote it down, and, made that massive song from it. So usually I'm always actively listening for stuff like that. However, with this song, I think I wrote it sometime during last year in like the heart of the pandemic and COVID. And so I was experiencing a lot of frustration, and anger is a very strong word, but it's really the only kind of way that I can describe it. And so I got it all out with this riff. I was just really freaking ticked off, and I was like, oh, there we go. So that's part one, which was the hook. And I was like, okay, so where can I take this? What's the chorus going to sound like? And so I spent a couple of days on that for the music in my demos that I do. And I found something that complemented that. So then I figured, okay, so is this going to have a bridge? Is it going to have, where's the solo going to be? And these are all things that Frank taught me while we were working on the river. It was all based on kind of the workshop, so to speak, that I had experienced with him. Mm-hmm. And so once I had the music down, I was thinking to myself, okay, well, what's this song going to be about? And at the time I was listening to a lot of Kid Rock, you know, like Cowboy and American Badass and stuff like that. So a lot of like in your face rock, just kind of feeling.
Man,
it's so
it's funny you say that, because I thought of Kid Rock when I heard it. You know?
Oh, good.
Yeah, definitely.
Right on. Yeah, my dad introduced that music to me at a very young age, which is a plus, I think, but a minus in my mom's eyes, because she's like, if he goes to school singing Cowboy and paying his wife, you know, we're gonna get in trouble. And it wasn't me, it was my little sister in kindergarten that was singing it. So that was a side point. But at the time that I was writing the lyrics, there was a dude that I was trying to get a hold of, and so we would talk one day, like a couple weeks to a month would go by, and then we'd pick it up like nothing left off. And so during the pandemic, you know, no gigs were happening. And so it was really like I was trying to get this guy's attention. And so that was creating some frustration for me. And on top of that, there was people who were freshly discovering my music, like Take a Walk in My Shoes and The River. And they felt that it was necessary for them to comment negative things, like, oh, this is just a stereotypical wannabe, you know, rock band kind of. They don't know what we had to experience back in the day to write this stuff. And so rather than addressing the internet trolls and stuff, I would delete the comments. And there was one day where I just kind of went over the edge, and I wrote down everything that I was feeling in my notebook. And so I got it all off my chest. It was a couple of pages, actually. I was just letting it all out. It wasn't one train of thought where, okay, I'm going to write this with the intention of making it a song. It was just to get it all off my chest. And as soon as I did that, a weight was lifted, and I closed my book. I set it there for a couple of days. I kind of just relaxed and jammed to some cover tunes and really just parked my mind on what was going on the last couple of months. And so I reread what I wrote down, and the overall message that I was telling myself was, regardless of what's going on and even how down in the dumps I'm feeling, I know I'm going to make it and achieve these goals that I have on my wish list. And I know I'm wanted. I'm telling myself, it's kind of like it's okay kind of a deal, like a message that's like, regardless of what happens, you have to get back up and try again and keep going forward.
That's great, man. And that's, you know, it's a real therapy. You know, what you do, you know, writing that down, having that notebook, you know, not too many people do that. Not enough people do that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Where, you know, like you say, I mean, you're lifting that weight off of yourself and just opening up. I think that's a great message, not only for the musician, but for everybody. You know, let it all out, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, and look what came of it for you. You know, what another great tune. It's
Thanks,
really
man.
cool, really cool. You know, I'm listening to this, and I know who you are, and I know the type of player you are, and you know where you're coming from with this stuff, and you got great tone with your playing. The one thing that I haven't seen yet from you and I'm
Mhm.
sure there's one in the can, or there's, it's back there, is that slow burner type of blues tune, that 5-6 minute thing with that
Oh yeah, like
slow,
a Tin Pan Alley or something like that.
yeah, yeah, there you go. Do you have something like that in the works? I would love to hear something like that.
Well, there's been some riffs that have been, we'll call it coming out. That's what I tell people. Instead of, oh, I wrote this riff, it comes out, and that's kind of how the river happened.
Hmm.
And we talked about it the last time I was on the show.
Yep.
And so there was a kind of last night, actually, I was just messing around and in a tuning that usually I don't kind of venture off into, and something came out. So maybe this next time I go and record, whether it's here in Frank's studio or up in Boston,
Hmm.
that'll be one of the tracks. But at this time, with the recorded material that I have, not yet.
Okay. That's good though. That keeps me wanting more, and it always does. But like I say, all these tunes are a little bit different, but they're all you. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's important. When I hear it, I hear Austin Moe songs. And I think that's really important. You're not doing somebody else.
Oh,
You're
I
really
am, but you just can't tell.
but like I say, I got the Kid Rock thing, and I
Mhm.
got that spirit there,
Yeah.
but totally in an Austin Moe way. It never leaves your personality, and that persona follows inside the tone. Like I said, I mean, the tone
Mhm.
is just extraordinary with your instrument. Uh,
Thank you.
it's great to hear it on these songs. Now you mentioned recording in Boston now, of course,
Mhm.
with Joe Merrick, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The writing and the approach. Now you got Joe Merrick in Boston, and you got Frank, who is of course touring now, I think, with Tesla, right?
Mhm.
Um, two different guys, or are they similar in their approach to the recording?
It's very similar. It's a little, it basically, Joe is Frank without the long hair. It's that's the best way that I can describe it. And I actually came across Joe Merrick on accident while I was looking for more songs to add into my set, because I think I discovered him in like the third or fourth month of this year. And I was looking to add Young Lust by Pink Floyd into my set list. So 9 times out of 10, if I want to learn a song before I go and grab my guitar, I'll watch somebody play it a couple times or a couple different people to see who sounds the best. And then I'll go grab my guitar, watch the video, learn it, and etc. So this video that I came across had a really high quality thumbnail of this dude singing. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, so this might be a guy in his bedroom, singing, and it's a couple different camera angles. This is what I'm assuming going into it. And so I click on it, and dude, it was so, they did to Pink Floyd what Pink Floyd did to their songs. I don't know if that makes sense, but they just totally brought it up another level.
Yeah.
And I watched it like 10 times in a row. I'm not even kidding. Like, seriously, stopped what I was doing. I was eating lunch. My food got cold. I was just like, oh my God. And so I sent it to my management. And this is when Frank was beginning his tour. And I was like, yeah, man, we got all these songs. I was talking with them. I was like, how could we record these? Because Frank's not gonna, want to come home, live in the studio, and then leave. He's got to be
Right.
able to take a break. And came across Joe. I sent it to them. They reached out to Joe. And while I was in the studio with Joe, he goes, yeah, man, I think it had to have been like an act of God that I picked up my phone, because normally when I see Los Angeles, California, I think it's spam and I don't answer it. And he goes, I just happened to be on my phone that day. I picked it up and it was your manager. And so the writing process that we've been doing is I'll send him my demos, much like I do Frank, and then he will record drums and bass and either a scratch guitar or vocal, depending on where he hears the song could go. and he'll send it back to me, and it's 100% of the time exactly where I'm trying to take it. And so
Wow.
we'll finalize those tracks, and then I'll fly out and track guitar and vocals. And man, let me tell you, the songs that are going to be coming out very soon, and it's looking like the beginning of the 2020 year.
Mhm.
They're pretty freaking killer, man.
That's cool.
I'm excited for people to hear it.
Yeah, man, that is great. You know, and I of course I was going to ask you about that. You know, a full length album or an EP, but you know, I got news that there's an EP in the works. Do or Die. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, that's the soft title right now.
Working
That's
title,
actually one
yeah.
of the tracks in the work of songs that we're thinking of releasing. But you know, with releases and stuff, it could change to later on in the year. We're wanting to release it in the beginning just to keep the hype up. But you know, with the current state of everything, it could change tomorrow.
Sure,
You know.
sure. How many songs you got done?
So I've recorded with Joe 7 songs, I believe, out of the 2 times that I was there.
Wow.
And 4 or 5 of them will be on the EP, and then we'll have 1 or 2 singles either before or after that.
Wow. And that's aside from the 3 we have already.
Right. Yeah. There's actually another one that's been recorded with Frank, and we're just talking about when we're going to be releasing it. So we got that one as well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That is really great news. Really, really great news. Yeah, Joe Merrick, you guys, nobody knew him other than what you saw when you were looking for him for the Young Lust video.
Yeah.
Frank didn't know of him. You didn't know of him before that.
Mm-mm.
Wow. It's fate, man. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, he's Boston's best kept secret. That's what we tell people.
That's cool. This current single, I'm Wanted, of course, recorded with Joe or with Frank?
It was recorded in Frank's studio, and a lot of it is actually live, minus the vocals and bits and pieces of like verses and stuff. A lot of the tracks that you're hearing were recorded in a live room, kind of, you know, like it used to be. But
Yep.
we had a click track on the drummer, not that he needed it, but just in case there was something that we heard, you know, in post that we just wanted to either accentuate or fix.
Right.
It's kind of like a safety net.
Well, you know, and Frank is that live guy, isn't he? He likes the. I mean, they're like Tesla's a raw band. You know, that's a live sound. Whether it's done live or not, I don't know, but it has that live playing together in a room sound.
Yeah.
And your stuff has that, of course. Really raw together as a band. That's important to Frank, isn't it? I mean, he likes recording like that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like I was hanging out in one of his other sessions with artists that he manages as well. And they were just going over, you know, just like tracks and stuff. And he was recording really rough demos. And what I mean by really rough is there wasn't any like, okay, so we're going to put it at this much BPM. We're going to stop here. You know, it was just a click record, see what happens, and let's listen back. Whatever we like, let's keep it. Whatever we don't like, let's change it and figure it out. Yeah. And so, yeah, he really digs that live environment for sure.
Yeah, it shows. It's really great. And you know, those other acts that he has are also great. You know, with Red Voodoo and JT Lux over there. I mean, these are all friends of yours too, which is really cool. You know, you guys all know each other and you all appreciate each other's music. It's a great environment that's created with Frank Hannon and his management.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's not, it would be funny if I chuckle because I think it would be an interesting thing, like if we threw like a FHP like house party or something like that. It's some dudes just like mansion or whatever. But you know, you never know what could happen. They're all great guys. Dino's super cool. Like my last show or 2 shows ago, I played at this restaurant chain that's owned by Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons called Rock and Brews.
Yeah.
And Dino and Davin, their guitar player, were flying out to Cabo Wabo at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. It's hard to say. That night. And they all showed up to my gig.
Yeah.
And my gig wasn't exactly late, but they stayed the whole time. And on my break, I was like, Dino, you need to go to bed, dude. Like, don't come up here and be tired. Like, he's like, no, man, I just want to come and hang out. And it's been a while. And I was like, oh, well, thanks, dude. But seriously, I'm going to kick your butt if you don't go home and go to sleep.
Yeah, Dino is great. I talked to him not that long ago about that Cabo gig and everything. Dream come true for them, of course. Really, really, really cool. Like I say, it is a great environment that you guys have, that camaraderie and everything. It's great to see. You know, because like you say, I mean, there's too many bands talking about each other, you know, fans talking about other bands, and this guy's better than that guy. And
I mean, what I've been told is no press is bad press, but I mean, at the same time, it kind of kills the vibe. Like, you know, it takes it back in the day when Van Halen was coming out and stuff, and people are like, oh, well, Van Halen's way better than Clapton, or Clapton's better, you know. So everybody's great in their own right. You know,
and that's great to see. You know, why is there got to be a competition? I ask myself that when I look through some of these forums and comments. It's like, why does one have to be better than the other? I like them both. You know,
I wish more people had that mentality, because if that was the case, there'd be a lot less anger. You know.
Yeah, totally, and a more appreciation for all the music that we have, which is great. So I noticed on the copyright on these songs, just off the cuff, I noticed this MSH management. Tell me about that. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, H is Hannon maybe, but I couldn't figure. Mo, what is that MSH management?
So that's actually like a little inside joke between Frank and I. When we were working together last year, I think I just missed his call or something like that. So I called him. I remember I was in Home Depot with my bass player, I believe, at the time, Spencer, who was in the River music video. So we were hanging out. And he answers the phone. He goes, hello, this is Make Shit Happen Management. Frank speaking. So
there you go.
I was like, oh, that's funny, man. And when I upload my music to DistroKid, which is the website that I use to make, the world be able to hear my stuff, you can type in, like, if you're not signed to a label or anything, you can type in anything. And so I was like, you know what? Just for spits and giggles, I'm just going to type in MSH management just to see how long it takes for somebody to actually bring it up.
There we go.
And it was almost a year. 11 months before somebody noticed.
Pretty cool. I like that too. That's going to stand for a while, probably.
Oh yeah.
Way cool. You've got tunes now. You play all the time, right? I mean, you got gigs fairly locally and around the area there.
Yeah.
Are you ready to tour?
Oh yeah. I was having a conversation with a guy over the weekend, and he was like, what needs to happen to be able to be presented to these tours, right? I was like, oh yeah. He's like, are you ready? I was like, dude, I was born ready. And he's like, okay, we'll see.
Cool.
So yeah, you never know. I mean, there's some doors that are being presented, and hopefully one opens and we'll be able to walk through one. And, this time next year, we'll maybe be in the East Coast playing in front of a couple thousand people. You never know.
Yeah, that'd be great. Or in Chicago would be even better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Home of the blues here. And we would love to see you here for sure.
Yeah, I love Chicago, man. That's actually the guy who put on the Blues Kids of America. He's based out of Chicago. His name is Fernando Jones,
Cool.
and he works. This is gonna make me look real bad. I think it's the Chicago School of Music. Is that one of the places that
Uptown School of Music?
maybe?
Yeah. Okay.
I
Yeah.
think he works there, and so that's he's the reason why I was able to go out to London when I was 16, because he put on blues camps everywhere, and we just missed Chicago. Funnily enough,
Yeah.
LA had been booked out, and the next one was London, England, and so we shot some messages. I auditioned, and a couple days later, we were packing our bags to go to London, and it was just a fantastic time.
Yeah. And I remember you telling me about that London trip, and it was a trip.
Oh yeah.
That's a great one. Yeah, but great opportunity for you. Many opportunities coming. Like you say, there's doors for you. Hopefully one of them will open, and we'll get you out on a tour and spread the word on your music. It's people need to hear it for sure.
We call it the Electric Church.
There you go. Hell yeah. Way cool. Hey, Austin, you're always welcome here anytime. Release the record, come back, talk to us about it. Any of those doors open, just let us know. I'd love to catch up with you, on all these opportunities, man. It's great.
Yeah, man. It's always fun talking with you, dude. I appreciate you letting me come on and bend your ear a little bit.
Absolutely, man. And it's always great to hear the good news and great things happening for you. And it's going to continue. There's no doubt. I'm waiting for the big explosion when I can't just hey Austin, come on. I'm going to have to go through 3 tiers of management to get to you. That's a good sign, though. That's a good sign. Yeah, hell yeah. Austin, thanks so much. Always appreciate your time. You're always welcome.
Well, thank you. It was a real honor to be on the show again.
Absolutely. Always welcome, man. It's great to have you. Take care. Tell the family the same. Much love to you, man.
Likewise.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.